guys, it is Rachel Feldman. I am so pumped to be here with Coach Erka. Erka, before we dive into the confidence that it takes to create the programs for Ideal Client, tell everyone just a little about you, who you are, and then we can dive right in.
Okay, well, my name is Erka McCallister. I am from Seattle, Washington. I am a former MD, and I became a health coach about 3 years ago, and here I am.
And here we are today. So guys, if you are watching and you are struggling to create your low-cost offers or your whole signature business funnel, and or even to think, what does my ideal client want? One of the strategies that has never failed me from day one, and the coaches I had in the beginning, they would always say, Rachel, this is not about you. Meaning, don't just create offers of where you know you want to take them. Create offers of really what they need that feed into their problems, and then craft the offers or personalize them if you're buying, content from somebody like us, and then make sure that you include the special sauce in the system that you use in your business. So what we're going to do in this training is we are going to talk about the problems that Erka's ideal client has, the subconscious thoughts that drive her to either connect with a person like Erka and then actually follow that person, see them on maybe the IG stories. Because guys, Erka, tell everyone your IG, because I think you're such a master when it comes to food photos, just a really beautiful blend on your IG.
It's Erka McCallister, MD. So ErikaMcCallister, MD.
And the reason I say that, guys, because I always love going to Erka's profile because I get inspo. I even after a few are like, you make me hungry. Come live with me. I got to eat. We have to eat the same food. But many coaches like myself, Erka, and everyone else always say, but they're not converting as much as I need them to convert. So what we're going to dive in today is many of you have great IG strategies, take awesome pictures, have been told that people are just going to find you on your blog or find you if you have a really nice grid or follow you on your stories. But we only follow and continue to follow when we are hearing from the person, Erka being the coach, the content and the messaging of what we need so that we actually continue to follow, move over and actually click, which you can see on many different platforms, your analytics, whether it's your WordPress pages, maybe use ClickFunnels, Instagram, and a lot of other platforms that actually say, what is my click over rate? That's where we start to, with hard data, say, is this strategy working? And guys, Eric and I were just talking about this before we recorded. Don't beat yourself up. Have compassion for yourself. Nobody just comes out of school, even if you've gone to 7 or the best marketing academies or you paid XYZ. We all have to figure this out on our own. So Erka, before we get into the programs and building the business, tell me some of the things that, in the earlier stages of building that you felt maybe not confident enough to build the program that your ideal client wanted, or did you feel that it just was so overwhelming to figure out what she was looking for?
Yeah, I felt like it was really overwhelming to figure out what she was looking for, exactly what she was looking for. I got into health coaching and I have a couple of different ideal clients. When I got into health coaching, it was from the perspective of medicine coming in a preventative care type of model. So my ideal model was to work with other physicians who really don't have any nutrition education, don't have any they really don't have the ability to work with their patients one-on-one to prevent them from developing type 2 diabetes and things like that. That's how I got into health coaching. So I have that in the back of my mind as those are clients that I want to target and work for. But then I have the clients that are more like me, that are looking for weight loss, that are looking to just be healthy and thrive and be able to take care of their kids and, not worry about being on a diet all the time and things like that. So I know that my clients are they're stressed out, they're overwhelmed, they are tired, they're just have no energy. They can't understand why they work out all the time and they don't eat hardly anything, and yet they still have all this belly fat, that kind of thing. So for me to put together the programs that I feel like different
people
people
yeah.
need was just really overwhelming. And so I've really had to come back to myself, come back to my main values to figure out what people actually need. But the confidence to just go in just in one direction has also been holding me back, I think, too.
Well, and I think not only from knowing you and in our membership and also just me being your person, like we speak that same love language of our desires and our wants. I know many coaches, myself included, don't sit there and say, okay, what would I have wanted? What would I have wanted when I am an A-type kind of woman working, also being the CEO of my home, and all the things you just named, the stress. I wanted somebody to connect the dots of the adrenal issues instead of me having to take a lot of time out, which I didn't have, and no one does have, to research. And you and I were talking about Dr. Wilson and Dr. Lamb and all the books that I found, because it's not that every doctor failed me or specialist, it's that there were so many missing pieces to the puzzle. And so if you're listening to this right now and this sounds confusing on baby step number one that most of us fail to do because we're overwhelmed is to actually say, what are the struggles of my ideal client? Because most often we craft a program, whether it's a program from us and you're personalizing it and saving time, or you craft your own, but it usually feeds to our ideal client of where we think they are, which is most often where we are now. Mm-hmm. The things that we have discovered in our life, the things that work, all of our, what I call step 4. Instead, step 4, like, hey, you can do this to boost your metabolism and all these cool things like intermittent fasting, but not thinking about that woman who is really confused. Mm-hmm. She's already overwhelmed in her house. Mm-hmm. She's overwhelmed in work. She's frustrated. She's extremely frustrated that all she does is search, and everyone says, it's stress. It's not your fault. Maybe you need to keto. Maybe you need to intermittent fast. Maybe you need to get your hormones checked. But we, in our offers, whether it's our free or paid, our list builders, our workshop, have to show her all the pieces to the puzzle. Yeah. If we say things like, and you and I were just talking about this before, if we say things like, her hormones are bad, we need to exactly in our content for us to be digital machines and dominate and be known as the expert. Then we have to say, and you just said it, why in my weight loss is it not working? I'm going to the gym. So step number 1 is reverse engineer and say, oh, wow. So that topic in the live I'm doing, in the workshop, in the free training is all about cortisol and hormones.
Okay.
Another aspect, of course, could be the belly fat and sugar. Again, we're just thinking of reverse engineering, the very things that you and I were talking about from the medical perspective. One would say, oh, hormones. Let's look at the progesterone. Let's look at the testosterone. Let's look at all these areas. But as coaches, as you and I were talking, we don't want to put ourselves in a liability zone. That's why the having offers so that you can go back to pitching to doctors' offices, workshops, getting really clear on, are these ideas that I'm creating my freebies or my workshops or even my beginning testing low cost offer programs, low to mid, before I go and invest a lot of time to create my high end offer.
Right.
So if we were to just say, in the simplicity of even what you and I just talked about, the hormones, she's exhausted, she's tired, she probably has constipation issues. She may not know the word leaky gut.
Right.
She may not know the word adrenal issues,
Right.
but what she's looking for the woman possibly at step 1 and step 2 is she's busy already. So it needs to be a billboard. Are you going to the gym and working out with your current diet plan but not losing weight? Then we reverse engineer into what we call their pillars of teaching. And for some of us, it is going to be 3 to 4 pillars. So under hormones, we would talk about belly fat. We would talk about hair falling out. We would talk about her stress, her energy, her metabolism. And we would write down as coaches on pieces of paper all the problems. We then would say, as we work on in our membership, what are the problems? What are the topics that my ideal client is searching for on Google? So the next step, before we even say, what should I buy or what should I create, is I'm going to go look at Mind Body Green. I'm going to go look at what Josh Axe is talking about. I'm going to go look at Chris Kressler. I'm going to go look at doctors or even people like Alejandro Younger. Because if we want to go from the medical side, which can be, of course, the same exact program on weight loss, you're going to spin just the message. So when you and I were talking, something like a program like New You Weight Loss addresses metabolism, SMART goals, a mini schedule, everything that a really busy woman is looking for. Because we know as coaches in our business, we always say things like, can you just show me the roadmap? Can you show me exactly what to do? Our clients are no different.
Right.
So at the first step, your ICA is looking for metabolism, weight. She has no energy. And your job on not the front offer, but all around it to teach them is these connections to gut, this integrative approach, the things that you wish were taught as being a doctor. The reason that you coach the way you do, because you want it to be this integrative approach. That same message is exactly how I pitched to doctors. And I did co-work with them because they were like, wow, I have never seen somebody who is talking about estrogen dominance, who's diving deeper into these areas that I wish I had time to do.
Right.
Because the physicians, doctors, gastroenterologists, the hormone specialist, the thyroid specialist, the doctor, everyone has their different specialty. They are desperately looking for the same. And so our job is to say, would you love me to come in and do a presentation on weight and cortisol? The same could be weight and adrenal issues. When we have that offer that we can use in a multifaceted way, such as New You Weight Loss, where you're talking about, you're giving them a simple plan for your lady who is like, I feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And for the other part, the avatar that you and I were talking about, like an us who is searching, she is on the internet. She knows more than many coaches. And she's like, hey, I was looking at the connection between adrenaline, metabolism, and my gut, because I'm really nervous that if I have these issues, I will pay them forward to my daughter. If I have these hormone imbalances, I don't want my daughter to have that. Oh, wow. I just heard Erka talk about endocrine disruptors and toxins and how that connects to metabolism. My girls or my children or my son, wow, he's constantly gaming. And I want to make sure he's protected because I want him to be able to, if he so decides, to have a baby, to not have low sperm count. Because in a world where we know the key conversion is not more noise, the key conversion is to take the freebies, the workshops, the programs, and to use everything so that we can use that as a platform, because truly it is empowering people with knowledge. And that was one of the reasons I always coach safely in Florida. I would say, I'm giving you the knowledge. We are going to hold hands. We are going to co-partner with specialists if you have teams. And I'm going to empower you to stand up for yourself and ask those uncomfortable questions. Why do you not want to test my estradiol? I never knew what estradiol was, but it was the people in my life who were the integrative approach people that supplied me with the information, gave me the courage and the confidence, because we have to have a lot of courage and confidence to ask those uncomfortable questions and to go against mainstream information. It's not that anything per se is wrong, but if you feel it's wrong, that's what you're talking about, where you're leading them. If you have a program that's about the basic weight loss, the next level then is where you start to look at, okay, so that offer worked. Some coaches know right away what they're going to teach because that came more intuitively. So somebody might say, well, I'm going to have a hormone detox, or I'm going to have a gut program and an adrenal program. And so they build out their whole funnel from low cost to mid to higher. Then they start making masterminds and small intensives in these groups because they nailed the offers, because they knew intuitively who their client avatar was and the psychology of that person. Mm-hmm. More importantly, what drives that person to spend money? Because when we hear objections like, well, that's a lot of money, a program that's $197 for 2 months. No, this will change your life. But if we don't have the offer that matches what the person's looking for, right, and most importantly, the consistent information, we have to share, educate, and wear different hats, which I always talk about. The hat that's the teacher, the hat that's the leader, the hat that is the mom, the this is my why, it's my kids, why we do this. The hat that's the girlfriend next door, like, hey, maybe you didn't know if you got some uncomfortable stuff down there, this can affect your metabolism. I wish I would have known. And then also the neighbor. Hey, not do you need sugar and flour? Hey, you were saying you were feeling sick the other day. Here, like, I have this oil, or I have this X, or let me send you this freebie I have. The neighbor. When we don't create our offers, no matter what the cost is, $7 to $7,000, there won't be conversion because we haven't thought enough about what we need to educate, what they need to hear from us. You so beautifully share all of those aspects. Mm-hmm. And what we talked about in the beginning was that confidence to actually say, I know what I believe. And I know what's missing in this industry because I left all the hard work, the years that you sacrificed as a doctor, because there are many nurses, nurse practitioners, doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists that leave or add, pivot their practice because they are inspired to change not only the now, but change for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that confidence is something that we need to do on a daily reprieve to say, I know in my gut I'm supposed to say this, and I need to stop doubting myself because it doesn't fit into the blueprint that X, Y, and D is doing. It has to feel right for us. And most importantly, it has to meet our clients where they are versus where we want to take them. Most of us create offers on where we know they need to go, or we make an assumption, which really is marketing. We make an assumption, but once we test it and maybe it's not converting as much, we just have to pull back, talk about what we were talking about in the beginning and say, I know I was meant to do this. When I made that decision to change, where was that excitement, that passion, that purpose, and my why? So when we get lost, which we all do, myself included, we got to go back to the Simon Sinek and say, why did I do this? Why did I create this offer? Who's it for? And then I'm going to spend every day, all day, explaining the things that are missing, show it in my life, and lead that woman so that she doesn't just look at your beautiful food, but she says, what is this Erka about? She was a doctor. And even if we're not a doctor, she was a mom who is struggling through this. She's sharing how she struggles in times of stress, how it's really easy to let go of self-care when we are being caretakers for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I didn't work out. Well, hey guys, this is Erka. Maybe you're struggling to find time in your workout. This is what I'm doing, and let me be honest, it's been a little hard. And this is why I am the coach that I am, because I'm real. I will always share behind the scenes of things I wish I would have known. And that releasing of ego and pride and all the things that we need to have a healthy ego to build a business. But when we step into the mindset of leadership and the confidence that we need, we will dominate as the expert. And I only know that from leaders that you and I were talking about. And Louise Gittleman, who I talked to the other day, and was like, I said, how are you doing? She said, oh, I'm writing a book. Because there is missing information that I've discovered in my research. And that's why we never have to perfectly nail it down. We have to perfectly nail down what's missing. What would my woman, what is she dealing with? Play out her life, what is she scared about? And what most importantly motivates her? Most A-type busy women in this modern world are motivated to change because of their children, or something's happening with their parents, or something's happening with their significant other, something happened with a friend. We don't just make change because change is hard. That's why we need a coach. That's why we need a collaborating partner. And that goes back to your original why. You will, not I wanted to, you will reach out to doctors and say, this is who I am. This is what I used to do. So I understand your practice. And this is what I can bring to the table. This missing ingredient that was missing in my practice. You then get to really be the change. You get to talk about, as I watched on the news, you get to talk about the trauma that happens when we go through change, the cortisol levels, the adrenal, how it affects our weight, how it affects our ability to be an amazing parent and wife and a woman that we are proud of because of our morals, because of the change we desire. And you get to touch on all the areas that doctors don't have the time they did 20 years ago. They had time to sit with their client for an hour. Now that's concierge medicine. but they still, within concierge medicine, are missing the you. And that's the confidence we have to remind ourselves daily, that we are the revolution, everyone. And it's not a far left, a far right, a far this, a far I don't believe in this. It's all of us coming together with like-minded, with our people, and finding that, and then changing the game for our clients.
Right. For sure.
So with that being said, is it clearer now what you want your offers to be? And so before we go and wrap up, tell me, what do you feel in your gut that your woman really needs?
Like you said, she needs guidance. She needs to know, she actually needs to know what her problems are. You know, she needs to know that things are related to that her weight loss, you know, her inability to lose weight is related to her adrenals and to her thyroid.
It's not her fault.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. And she needs to know that, you know, all of the misinformation out there, all of the, you know, good information out there, it may not necessarily be for her also. We need to get back to her basics, just like I need to get back to my basics. Get back to her basics, start from scratch, and just do what's right for her body and herself. And you know, have some education around what is involved and why she needs those things.
And that's whether we are, of course, as doctors and nurses and chiropractors, we all have different scope abilities, as you and I were talking about. But this is a big but, not an end. The but is, we as coaches, no matter what, are empowering our clients with the education.
Right.
Because everyone in this world walks around and goes, I just did this diet and with my friend, and she lost 10 pounds, and I've never been able to lose 2 pounds.
Right.
I eat nothing. It's all these things that we feel are our fault, even though we have all the information. But when we're busy and we're overwhelmed and we're feeling frustrated, our eyes are not always wide open. We get to be the eyes wide open. And we don't make claims. We say, you know, let's talk about maybe why you're addicted to sugar. Let's talk about, from a physical aspect, the dysbiosis that can be in gut, the metabolism, all of these magical things that you have put together, the pieces of the puzzle, that even though in a world of information, nobody's done that.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, of course, we're all going to be different, because guess what? We all speak a different love language. I'm your person. I'm not a person for most people who go slow and they want to talk like this, and it's too overwhelming to hear a lot of information. It's not a bad thing. It's just a different love language. I know that my person is desperately searching in frustration, because my person is the one Googling.
Yeah.
And if they're not my exact person, I did coach many women who didn't even know that was going on. Yeah. And I felt that it was my duty as a woman that did struggle, that did search endlessly to try to figure out these missing pieces, to share that knowledge with the world. And if that woman wanted to hire me, I wasn't changing. I was then looking at the offer that would feed the more mom, that she didn't have any major stuff, but man, she was confused, and that was screwing up her life.
Total confusion, and don't know where to start, for sure.
So I would say, look at the weight loss part, the metabolism, the sugar, but address it differently. Address it in
where
the
I
way
definitely
you would look at it.
That's where I definitely feel like I've needed to start, because, you know, people they don't even know what they're supposed to eat. They don't even know where to start. They don't know that sugar is an issue. They don't know that, you know, rather than diving into all the hormone and get stuff right away, they need to know that
the whys. They need to know the connecting dot. And I will say this, which blew my mind when I coached. I mean, more than hundreds, because I would do large groups, is that everyone knows, but they don't know.
Yeah.
And so even little things, when I would say, it may not be your fault that you're constantly hungry, because I would always I instantly crave sugar right after I eat. And then it was my experiences of blood sugar imbalances, from having low blood sugar to then having sugars that right away when I would eat, they would spike up in the 200s. But my fasting was at a 97 always, no matter what. And it was through the people that I hired in my life that all of a sudden I put that piece of the puzzle together. Wow, I'm going to tell my client, I'm not suggesting you do this. This is what was my experience. I didn't even know that my sugars were this high. I didn't know that my A1C was climbing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they would say, oh my God, I'm going to go talk to my doctor.
Yeah.
And they would come back and say, I cannot believe that you told me that, because my doctor is like, wow, we never tested in this way. Now I'm going to have you test. And then it was this missing ingredient.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't make a claim. As my mentor, Dr. Morse, would always say, we're just the way shower.
Yeah.
That's all. We're not here to tell somebody do this or do that. We're here to say, hey, maybe you got confused along the way, because there is a lot of information.
Yeah. And people do, I think, to a certain extent, they want to be told what to do. They want to be told what's wrong with them and everything. And my purpose here is to help them to find that for themselves, because I'm not here to diagnose you. I'm not here to give you a pill, magic bullet, a quick fix. We're here to get away from that. We're here to get on with living your life so that you don't ever have to deal with these problems again, so that you can get through this, so that you are empowered to make these changes for yourself. That's what.
So because you know the warning signs, because you know and you have the information, because when you work with me, I'm never going to leave you hanging, because you know that when you work with me, I am an absolute geek when it comes to finding out the missing ingredients. Because in a world of mystery illness, in a world of stress and metabolism issues and everything in between, gut and food allergies and focus, and we don't need any more stress of Googling. Let me help you find your map and know when you need to update your map, because you can have power, and with power becomes choice.
Yep, for sure.
And confidence.
I love it.
And that is how we create a business that is in alignment with our heart, and more importantly, thinking about our ideal client versus what we think we should do, what we've been told. Oh, you should only charge X amount. No, that was not how I was taught to build a business. I was taught to say, what was I searching for? And if I'm not my ideal client, what are they really struggling with? That's when we get people on the phone. If we don't have clients, we get our friends on the phone. We name avatars of our family. We think of the constant questions that people ask us. Hey, I've heard a lot about calcium. Should I take calcium? I've heard that I don't have celiac, so why would I have to give up gluten? Oh, okay, so now I really have to actually go really back to the basics. Gluten and inflammation, gluten and skin, gluten and hair, and then I've got to touch on gluten and hormones, gluten and this, and I've got to then do that and really lessen the overwhelm, because our client is we're all overwhelmed. That's why we love hanging with coaches. That's why you and I gabbed for 40 minutes before we recorded, because we are our people.
Yeah. And I think that's where I was confused, is that there are so many elements that is missing for people. There are so many elements, just like you just said, talking about all of those things. And so then I'm just like, where did I start? So that's where I've been super confused. That's where I've had to kind of come back to myself and say, like you said, what is your journey? Where did you start? What were you searching for? What did you need? And I just need to start slow, just to start with one piece of that puzzle so that I can start reaching those people and start helping them.
And I would say that's one of the biggest reasons people think it's just like marketing. But when I created programs for my business, it was because I felt that I was pulling from John Douillard, pulling from Paul Pitchford, pulling from Kim Schneider, pulling from Alana's Pantry, pulling from Josh Axe, and I got exhausted
Yeah.
with creating the wheel for my one-on-one. I was dying. I was dying. I was time deficient. I was falling apart. And so I started creating content. And that's why we say to coaches, you know, spend more time connecting with people, spend more time testing the message, get people on the phone, dominate by doing a video a day, show up consistently, stop seeing imperfection. And that's why the programs and the freebies and the workshops that we created, we say to people, you haven't, if you don't get it, and then spend that 10 hours instead pulling from the content, showing up, having those talks, pulling from content that says gut, thyroid, hormones, taking one PowerPoint and there's 20 slides, that's 20 pieces of content. Yeah. All of a sudden, one PowerPoint becomes 30 days of content anywhere. So that we don't go, I'm really nervous to do this video. Of course you're nervous to do this video. God did, you know, we didn't learn that anywhere. Hit the live button and go live because you're looking at the screen, you're looking at the PowerPoint. Then take a screenshot, put that on your IG stories, put that on a blog, put the video under and say, hey, you know, email me right here if you want to chat. DM me, PM me, get people into a conversation versus thinking a funnel fixes everything. We have to be the funnel for people to say, damn, I'm going to stop in my busy life and go listen to this chick on a Sunday or, you know, Sunday at 6 or Saturday. Oh, wow. Because she is exactly what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
So with that being said, lady, if we do need to cover any programs, just PM me, PM me, DM me. Guys, go check out Erka's Instagram. She said it earlier, but once we're done, Erka will send me her Instagram. Do you actually want to say it again? Erka McCallister, MD.
Erka McCallister, MD. Erka with a K, MCCALL. I'll send it to you.
But guys, her Instagram is amazing. And that's the thing. Stop reinventing the wheel, remassage it, remessage it, and cultivate the questions and get on the conversations. Listen, just like our Erka was so clear on her woman, that requires us to stop creating, let go, and start showing up. And the showing up and the action, the doing. And then that's where coaches come to me and they say, I am so freaking busy. This is what I need. And then crafting all of that becomes easy. It's not the content that's hard. It's the thing, it's the putting it together because we really understand our niche and our ideal client. And then the conversion is a no-brainer. If you're not having conversion, I'm going to say this with love, you got to go back to the drawing board. What you think your ideal client wants is actually not. And you may have spent $6,000 on a website, brand expert, Facebook ads, everything. I get it, but it's not working. Or maybe it worked 3 years ago when you were a completely different age and your ideal client grew up like we all do. I'm not going to talk about stuff I did at 35. No. And you just need to remassage it, right? We're like, can somebody talk about the tire that happened when I woke up at 40?
Yeah.
Talk about that. I guarantee every woman will be like, where are you? Can I come live with you? How much is your VIP? Oh, you have a mastermind? I'm in. I'm in. Yeah.
Totally.
So guys, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Erka, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We could talk all day because I am your ideal client. So just don't forget, it isn't always, we aren't our exact ideal client all the time because we are the ones that continue to search. They're confused. They're struggling with all these problems. Don't let somebody else who understands digital marketing but doesn't even have the knowledge that you have the confidence to say, I'm going to blaze against the trail. I'm
Totally.
going to blaze the trail. That's the confidence. That's the mindset. So with that being said, I will see you guys later. Erka, thank you. Guys, if you have any questions, please let us know. We're here for you. Drop any comments below and follow this amazing chick. If you need her, hire her. The best way to understand how to coach is to get a coach. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Erka.